Prophecy, Psalm 24 verse 3 in fulfillment, Acts 1 verse 11, Philippians 2 verse 9. His exaltation predicted. The Bible, a sacred and prophetic book, contains verses that foretell significant events with remarkable accuracy. One such prophecy is found in Psalm 24 verse 3, where the psalmist poses a profound question. Who shall ascend the hill of the Lord? And who shall stand in his holy place? This prophetic inquiry finds its fulfillment in the New Testament, specifically in Acts 1 verse 11 and Philippians 2 verse 9, as Jesus Christ is exalted to the highest place and seated at the right hand of God. In this essay, we will explore the prophecy in Psalm 24 verse 3, examine its fulfillment in Acts 1 verse 11 and Philippians 2 verse 9, and reflect on the profound significance of Jesus' predicted exaltation. Unveiling Psalm 24 verse 3. The Ascent to God's presence. Psalm 24 is a majestic psalm that celebrates God's sovereignty and his desire for a righteous people. In verse 3, the psalmist raises a question concerning who is worthy to ascend the hill of the Lord and stand in his holy place. This inquiry points to the significance of purity and righteousness to be in God's presence. This powerful prophecy foreshadows the arrival of someone who is worthy to stand before the holy God. The fulfillment in Acts 1 verse 11. The Ascension to heaven. The fulfillment of Psalm 24 verse 3 is strikingly revealed in the book of Acts, specifically in Acts 1 verse 11. After Jesus' resurrection, as he was about to ascend to heaven, two angels appeared to the disciples, proclaiming, Men of Galilee, why do you stand looking into heaven? This Jesus, who was taken up from you into heaven, will come in the same way as you saw him go into heaven. In this moment, the fulfillment of the prophetic promise in Psalm 24 verse 3 becomes evident. Jesus, the sinless and righteous one, ascends to the holy place of God's presence, seated at the right hand of the Father. The fulfillment in Philippians 2 verse 9. The name above every name. The fulfillment of Psalm 24 verse 3 is also reflected in the Epistle to the Philippians, particularly in Philippians 2 verse 9. The Apostle Paul writes about Jesus' exaltation, stating, Therefore God has highly exalted him and bestowed on him the name that is above every name. In this verse, Jesus is recognized as the one who has been highly exalted by God, fulfilling the psalmist's vision of someone ascending to God's holy presence. The profound significance of Jesus' exaltation. The fulfillment of Psalm 24 verse 3 in Acts 1 verse 11 and Philippians 2 verse 9 carries profound spiritual implications for believers and all of humanity. 1. The worthy Savior. The fulfillment reveals Jesus as the worthy Savior who ascends to God's presence. His sinless life and sacrificial death make him the only one deserving of such exaltation. 2. The victorious Redeemer. The prophecy and its fulfillment underscore Jesus' victory over sin and death. His exaltation signifies his triumph over all the powers of darkness. 3. The name above every name. The fulfillment emphasizes the supreme authority and power of Jesus. He is exalted with the name above all other names, signifying his divine nature and lordship. 4. The hope of glory. The fulfillment offers believers the hope of future glory. As Jesus is exalted, so too will his followers share in his glory and reign with him. 5. The call to worship. The fulfillment invites us to worship and honor Jesus as the exalted King. He is the one who is seated at the right hand of God, and all creation is called to bow before him. Conclusion. Psalm 24 verse 3 prophetically raises the question of who shall ascend to God's holy place, and Acts 1 verse 11 and Philippians 2 verse 9 powerfully fulfill this prophecy, as Jesus Christ ascends to heaven and is highly exalted by God. The fulfillment magnifies Jesus as the worthy Savior, the victorious Redeemer, and the exalted King with the name above every name. As we contemplate the fulfillment of this prophecy, may we find profound significance in Jesus' predicted exaltation, the one who conquered sin and death and now reigns with unparalleled authority. Let us respond with reverence, adoration, and unwavering faith to the exalted King of Kings. May his exaltation inspire us to live transformed lives, characterized by wholehearted worship and a desire to honor him in all we do. As we reflect on Jesus' exaltation, may we find assurance in his triumphant reign and be filled with hope for the future glory that awaits those who believe in him. Let us join in the anthem of worship, acknowledging Jesus as the exalted Lord, and may our lives reflect the beauty and splendor of the one who ascended to God's holy place and is seated at the right hand of the Father.